Peymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Peymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes for 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello, my friends. I am Peymon Mutahede, the president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996. In this Freedom Hour, we will talk about how we are having now state and federal congressmen and political office holders and even a potential Congress member are speaking about income tax deception, fraud, how we don't have to pay income taxes to this foreign entity in Washington, D.C. called the federal government, and why we have a legal obligation and duty not to fund the corruption that the federal government has become. Let's check out what these wonderful people have to say. First one is my favorite House member, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, the new Ron Paul, okay? And he says that the federal income tax was unconstitutional for most of our country's existence. We didn't have it for most of our existence of America, federal income tax at all, and we became a great country without it, right? And that the founders of America, of this country, would have never agreed to it. That is right, and the current system still does not allow for it to be imposed on the people of the 50 states, and it still doesn't apply to people of the 50 states. And he says we should repeal it. No, we just need to recognize that we never owed it in the first place. So, but he is on our side. With that, let's go to now the New Hampshire representative website. This guy right here, his name is Jason Gerhard, okay? And here's what he says. Keep your hard-earned money and defund the federal tyrants. What lovely words, yes. Defund the federal tyrants, and look at the background. He has a Bitcoin in behind him, right? And you don't owe the tax on federal income if you don't have federal income. Yes, unless you exercise a federal privilege like sending guns to the army. Absolutely correct. The IRS extortion ring has no claim on the money. Absolutely true. I want to get to know this guy. We're going to try to locate him and talk to him, interview him. But until we do that, let's hear what he's got to say, guys, okay?
Quick announcement from Representative Jason Gerhard, Northfield Franklin, Merrimack 25. Stop paying a tax you don't owe. Do you owe the tax on federal income? Do you have federal income? Chances are you haven't. You trading your time for someone else's money leaves the government completely out of that equation. And it's time that we grow up and actually figure out what we're paying and do we owe it. Because we're funding unnecessary wars. We're funding a federal prison system that is just absolutely insane. And we're funding a lot of other things that really need to be looked at in more detail. And we can't do that because the government simply treats us like a big piggy bank. So it's time we grow up, figure out what we do owe, and stop paying it if we don't owe it. Underneath this post, there'll be a few documents that you can analyze, including a letter to your accounting department, which I think is great. And if there's anything that you don't agree with, let me know. Let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. Because the IRS doesn't want to answer any questions. And I wonder why that would be. Yeah. So, point being, if you don't agree with what the federal government's doing with your money, stop sending them your money. Okay? They're not going to all of a sudden wake up and realize, oh, you know what, we shouldn't have been doing this stuff. It's not how it works. Tax revolts work for a reason. Government needs money in order to continue its unconstitutional activities. We have to snip it. End it. All right? So I'll keep this short. In time, I hope to go into this in more depth. I'm not really a good video person, as you can probably tell by now. So yes, but let's figure this out. You have questions, let me know. And there will be presentations in the future. I'm hoping to do one in front of the Franklin City Council. But yeah, let's get this done and stop funding tyrants. All right? Thank you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Stop funding tyrants, folks. Now, let's go on to a congressional candidate from Michigan, okay? His name is Anthony Hudson. His website is Anthony Hudson 2K24. There he is. Let's see what Anthony Hudson got to say, folks. I like what he says the best. That's why I saved him for last.
There's a lot of people out there that agree with not paying their taxes this year. And there's a lot of people that like to comment, you're just going to go to jail. Let's see how that works out for you. The IRS is going to come get you. You know, our government is breaking the law every day. Constitutional law exists just the same as political law. And as long as the government is taking our tax-paying dollars and they're using it to give to illegal immigration, giving them the right to vote, giving them driver's license, allowing them to buy land, allowing them to buy homes, giving them prepaid credit cards for those who live in hotels in New York, where veterans used to live in those hotels. Now they've kicked out the veterans and moved in the illegal immigrants. States like California and Illinois are allowing them to become police officers and carry a weapon while they're on duty. That's illegal. And you're not going to use my tax-paying dollars to pay for your criminal activity in this country. In order for this movement to work, everyone needs to get involved. Oh, well, they'll arrest you. No, they won't, because they won't have the money to arrest you. They can't come after all of us because we have the numbers. So when are the American people going to stop being afraid? Stop being scared. Stop being controlled. Stop being sheep. We have a right to exist in this country. And with Bidenomics kicking everybody while they're down, making it almost impossible to survive, you need to keep your money to take care of your family. Put a roof over their head. Put food on the table. Make sure you don't lose your car. Keep your cell phones turned on. Keep your internet, your cable. Be responsible, but don't be reckless. Paying your taxes right now to this corrupt, treasonous government is reckless and illegal. And it can be proved in a court of law that what they're doing goes against the constitutional law of this land. You won't get in as much trouble as you think you will. Stand up. Do the right thing. As for me and my family, we'll lead the charge. We are not paying our taxes this year. We are not giving in to the government's control. We will not be sheep. And we will not stand by idle and let them tell us what to do in the land of the free. I will be free.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? Well, how about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
We outnumber them. He says 100 to 1, but we actually outnumber them 100,000 to 1. Yes, you heard that right. We outnumber the people in the IRS and the deep state 100,000 to 1. Okay, we all stop fighting. There's no way they can come after all of us. And they already know that, folks. They know there's way too many. In fact, the good news is that they are falling apart already. Already there's about 80 million Americans who do not file 1040 income tax confession trap forms. Wow. Yep, you heard me right. 80 million Americans do not file 1040 forms that the IRS claims they should have filed one. Anthony is absolutely right. You have no duty whatsoever to pay any money whatsoever to the federal mafia. And that's exactly what the federal government has become. It's a mafia. Would you voluntarily and knowingly pay the mafia? And some of you would say, oh, but I'm afraid of the mob. The mob might hurt me. You know, I don't want the mob to hurt me. I understand that. I'm not blaming you for having those legitimate concerns. But first, let's acknowledge we are dealing with the mafia. We're no longer dealing with the government of, by, and for we the people anymore, okay? You're paying the mafia. So now that you know that, the question 2 becomes, what do I do about it? Keep funding your enemies to enslave and destroy you and your family? Does that make any sense to voluntarily keep paying money to your enemies who try to enslave and further destroy you and your family? It makes no sense to me. Why would anybody do that? And so that is why Freedom Law School, we have provided at our website. If you go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, we will show you that based on U.S. government's official legal websites, no law requires 98% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes. That's right. Not my opinion. U.S. government's official legal websites. We are sticklers for the law. And see, that's how we can restore freedom in America. By helping you regain your power and freedom with knowledge, you will never again voluntarily have to pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely, and even with a guarantee if that is what you desire. All you gotta do is to go down and take these 7 steps to free yourself of IRS deception first. That's first deception. They deceive you. They trick you. And have you be afraid. See, I'm free of the fear. But I cannot free of the fear before I gotta first show you've been lied to, you've been deceived. You don't need to be afraid. But you are deceived to be afraid. I know you are deceived to be afraid. You will not be afraid once you understand what's going on. Once you understand how weak the federal government is and how much powerful you got. Remember, I have not filed and paid any federal income taxes for over 30 years. And teaching Americans, by the way, for over 30 years to do the same. You would think I'll be the first guy they would want to put in prison to stop waking the American people because I'm teaching lawlessness. I'm teaching people to break the law. But no, they don't try to put me in prison because I've not broken no law. I'm following the law all the time. There is no law that requires the people of the 50 states to file and pay federal income taxes. Only citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., federal workers, contractors, and pensioners, they have to pay federal income taxes. See, so once you understand these things, how you were deceived, your fear will be gone, and now you can stop them robbing you of your wealth, of your hard-earned money, and then you will no longer be a slave. Yep, you can do it for free on our first 5 of these 7 steps, and you can have a guarantee if you go on and there's another step. So folks, go to freedomlawschool.org. It's all there for you for free.